33 right there. 33 in his hand? No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there's 33s right here. Don't you move or you're going to get shot, okay?
And then I turned around and thought about it, and I was like, well, if he tried to kill one person, who's to say he wasn't going to do it again? But I didn't think it would be his own daughter.
They can't change their stripes. People can't change unless they want to. And I don't think he wants to.
In the chill of a Tuesday morning on March 18, 2025, Toledo, Ohio, became the stage for a tragedy no family ever expects. Imagine coming home from a long night shift to find the front door to your house unlocked, a faint gas smell hanging in the air, and your 13-year-old granddaughter, Kei'Mani Latigue, nowhere to be found. That's exactly what happened to Dorothy Latigue. The little clues added up fast: Keimani's glasses and keys left behind, her pajamas and underwear carelessly dropped on the dining room floor, and a phone that rang straight to voicemail. Normally, Keimani never forgot her glasses and would never change her clothes anywhere but her bedroom. Panic set in quickly for Dorothy as she called her granddaughter's school, only to find out that Keimani hadn't shown up that day. With mounting dread, Dorothy called the police to report her missing.
There were things in the floor that should not have been. That's what caused the alarm. So I called the school to speak with her. I asked them, could I speak with her? And then they did. They contacted the principal, her teacher, and the gym teacher, and all three of those guys said that she was not there.
Keimani Latigue, just days away from her 14th birthday, was described as sweet, smart, and kind by those who knew her. She loved basketball and was halfway through 7th grade at Spring Elementary. Since early 2024, she'd been living with her grandmother Dorothy, who had gained legal custody after years of caring for her. Before that, Keimani was raised by Dorothy's close friend, filling in the gaps left by a mother who battled substance abuse and couldn't always be there. Her father, Darnell Jones, sometimes called Darnell, was a steady presence, taking Keimani for visits whenever he could. Nobody in her life could have imagined how that ordinary Tuesday would erupt into a nightmare. The details inside the house, an unlocked door, the gas on the stove, belongings scattered where they shouldn't be, all pointed to something much worse than a simple disappearance. When police arrived, they had no idea they were standing at the edge of a case far more tragic and horrifying than anyone could have feared. The weekend before Keimani Latigue disappeared was filled with moments that, in hindsight, seemed almost too normal. On Saturday, March 15, 2025, her father, Darnell Jones, took her from her grandmother Dorothy's house for what was supposed to be a simple visit. They spent the day with Keimani's mother, Tiara, and everything appeared to go well: laughter, video games, and a rare sense of peace for the young girl who had faced her share of challenges. By Monday, March 17, Darnell brought Keimani back to Dorothy's home. The exact time she returned was unclear, but that marked the last time her family would see her. That day, Keimani was reported at school, acting completely normal, smiling and calm, with no hint that anything was wrong. But as Tuesday the 18th arrived and her grandmother came home to an empty house, everything changed. Panic grew quickly, and attention naturally turned to Darnell, the last close adult to see Keimani. In the days after she was reported missing, Darnell stood beside Dorothy in public appeals, telling anyone who would listen about the last call he got from his daughter. He claimed that late on Monday night, Keimani called saying she thought someone was trying to break into their house.
Came over here because she said that if it seemed like somebody was trying to break into the house.
Darnell said he and his cousin, Cop Jones Dixon, rushed over and stayed with Keimani for about an hour, leaving at 12:30 a.m. on Tuesday. He insisted that they then drove straight to his own home, yet timelines were starting to blur. Dorothy had been clear in interviews that Keimani was already gone when she came home Monday morning. Meanwhile, the community rallied, passing out flyers and posting on social media, desperate for any sign of the missing girl. The pressure on Darnell mounted as police began dissecting his story, interviewing his cousin to double-check details. The more investigators looked, the more inconsistencies emerged between the two men's accounts. Doubt seeped in, the picture of a worried father was cracking, replaced by uncertainty and suspicion. The investigation took a significant turn thanks to Darnell's own girlfriend. On Friday, March 21st, she received a call from Darnell, asking her to turn off the security cameras at their house. Alarmed by this odd request, she chose to ignore it, keeping the cameras running. Her decision proved critical. Soon after, one of her relatives saw Darnell moving items from his Ford Explorer SUV into their home and hiding them under the basement stairs. The girlfriend's suspicions finally boiled over, and she contacted the Toledo police, setting into motion a chain of discoveries that would change the entire direction of the investigation.
I was here informed me that he hid something under my stairs in my basement, so I called the detectives and they came and did a search warrant and grabbed it. And once he noticed those were gone, that was the last time I seen him.
With evidence mounting, police obtained a search warrant for Darnell Jones's home and made several discoveries that supported his girlfriend's suspicions. Investigators found a rolled-up mat, typically used to protect the cargo area of an SUV, stashed beneath the basement stairs, along with a pair of mud-caked work boots. This detail caught attention, since Darnell had not been to work in quite some time, and the mud source was unaccounted for. Alongside these, officers also collected a pair of black sweatpants from the washing machine and a pair of gray and red shoes from the living room as potential evidence. A more disturbing clue involved Keimani's underwear, which Dorothy Latigue had initially found in the dining room on the day her granddaughter went missing. She reported to police that the underwear appeared to have blood on them, a concern she had shared with Darnell. But after their conversation, the underwear vanished and were not found when police searched Darnell's residence. Complicating matters further, before Darnell attempted to hide the mat and boots, he had asked his girlfriend to unplug the home's security cameras and allegedly told her not to let police know he had not returned home until around 5:30 a.m. the day Keimani disappeared. This directly contradicted his previous statement that he'd gone straight home from Dorothy's house at 12:30 a.m., creating a conspicuous 5-hour gap that investigators immediately flagged as suspicious. When Darnell found out the police had searched his home and seized items from his basement, he disappeared, turning himself into a person of intense interest in his daughter's disappearance. Detectives believe the inconsistencies and evidence pointed toward Darnell's involvement and attempts at a cover-up. As the search for Keimani continued, the growing stress and suspicion within her family spilled into the open. Some relatives pushed to search Dorothy's house for clues, but Dorothy, though unsettled by the sudden crowds, allowed it out of urgency. Tensions erupted further when a cousin accused Dorothy on social media of threatening her with what looked like a handgun during the search, posting online about a threatening gesture involving a gun. This allegation, whether accurate or not, fueled even more suspicion directed at Dorothy. Meanwhile, rumors swirled online as purported text messages surfaced, claiming Keimani had been abducted for ransom. Many questioned whether the texts were genuine or fabrications, suspecting that someone might have invented the ransom story or even that Dorothy herself could have faked them to mislead investigators and the public. These accusations, though unverified, only deepened divisions in the family and fed rampant speculation in the community. The turmoil surged when a video showed Dorothy being escorted from her home in handcuffs, sparking widespread rumors of her arrest and involvement. Authorities, however, would later clarify that she had not been arrested, but the rumor had already taken hold, further complicating an already fractious and painful investigation. In the midst of escalating tensions and threats from a distressed crowd, Dorothy Latigue faced concerns for her own safety and requested to be handcuffed by the police not as a suspect, but as a way to calm the people gathered outside her home and to be escorted away peacefully. Dorothy later reported receiving menacing messages that not only threatened her personal safety, but also indicated possible harm to her home. As investigators delved deeper, suspicions emerged about Keimani's life with her grandmother before her disappearance. It came to light that Child Protective Services (CPS) had investigated Dorothy's household at least twice, if not 3 times, due to concerns about her disciplinary practices. Dorothy herself acknowledged these investigations, maintaining that while she disciplined Keimani, she never abused her. Dorothy recalled CPS instructing her that physical discipline should be limited to spanking a child's behind and never elsewhere, and stated that the most recent case was closed about 7 months before the tragedy.
I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study, and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them, and you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that.
Yet troubling details surfaced from Keimani's former teachers and classmates. One 6th grade teacher claimed she and colleagues had contacted CPS several times after noticing worrying injuries and listening to statements from Keimani that suggested possible harm at home. The teacher shared regret that their warnings went unanswered, believing that if authorities had looked more seriously, Keimani might still be alive.
Hard, because especially in a role like education, your day doesn't end at 3:30. You take these things home with you. They weigh on you. I'm a parent myself, and I tried my best to make sure that she was removed from that environment.
In addition, some peers reported that Keimani had expressed fears about going home to Dorothy's, and one recalled seeing bruises on Keimani's arms that appeared to be from a physical altercation.
She came to school with bruises on her arms.
By March 23, 2025, the accumulating evidence and Darnell Jones's suspicious behavior compelled authorities to issue an abduction warrant for his arrest. Police records confirmed that Darnell, under both his real name and his alias Darnell O'Gowrie, had a significant criminal history spanning years, including charges for resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, arson, and felon in possession of a firearm. In 2015, he was accused of firing a gun at another individual's feet during an argument and spent about 2 years in jail before his release in early 2017. As Darnell became the central figure in the abduction investigation, Dorothy expressed her deep sense of betrayal, stating she had trusted Darnell to take care of Keimani and believed he was trying to be a good father. Revelations about his possible involvement, as well as doubts over his biological paternity. Dorothy claimed Keimani's mother had repeatedly told her Darnell was not the biological father.
This man has been to my house several times. He usually takes her for weekends to his house to visit with him and his other children. And I feel deceived. Like, you played for so long in my face, like you was her dad, like you really had her best interests at heart. But where is she?
Though he was present in Keimani's life for more than her mother intensified the family's grief and confusion. The conflicting accounts and painful accusations from both Dorothy and Keimani's mother, Tiara Caston, added layers of distrust and anguish as authorities pressed forward in their search for answers. Darnell Jones's criminal history revealed a troubling pattern over the years. In August 2023, he was arrested for felonious assault after reportedly inflicting serious facial injuries on a man using a heavy vehicle alternator, though he ultimately received probation. In July 2019, neighbors reported him to police after he threw two televisions off his balcony and was seen physically threatening his wife on the balcony, leading to domestic violence charges. The assault charge was later dismissed, and he served only 11 days for domestic violence.
He had her on this side, where that's facing us. He had her on that side right there, hanging off the balcony by her throat. Hearing things going over the balcony, like TVs and clothes, you name it, he was tossing it out the door and out the window onto the ground. He was this close to throwing her off that balcony.
In 2021, he faced endangering children charges, but those were dismissed. Most recently, in August 2022, he was arrested for being a felon in possession of a firearm, disorderly conduct while intoxicated, and possession of drug paraphernalia. For these offenses, he served 12 months in prison. This history painted a picture of a man with repeated violent and criminal behavior, but often receiving relatively lenient sentences. While the investigation focused heavily on Darnell, other individuals connected to the case were also briefly scrutinized. Police sought phone records for Darnell's mother, Linda O'Gorey, after she told investigators she had not spoken to her son since Keimani's disappearance and knew nothing about it, despite a recorded call where Darnell mentioned giving her more details later. Darnell's cousin, Caleb Jones Dixon, who was claimed by Darnell to have been with him on the night Keimani vanished, was unable to provide a consistent timeline of his whereabouts, though no charges have been filed against him. Another person, Lisa White, who sometimes cared for Keimani while Dorothy was at work, said she was not at the house the night Keimani disappeared. With an active abduction warrant for Darnell, the question loomed of where he and Keimani might be. The search took a crucial turn when Darnell's girlfriend provided a tip revealing he was in Columbus, Ohio, several hours from Toledo. Concerned for her safety and wanting to distance herself from the situation, she alerted police. On March 24, 2025, Toledo police tracked down the clue to a burned-out, abandoned house on Miami Street in East Toledo, about 3 miles from Keimani's home. Surveillance footage showed Darnell's vehicle arriving shortly after Keimani's disappearance, with him entering the house. Inside, police found the heartbreaking confirmation: the body of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. She had suffered severe fatal injuries to her neck, later confirmed by the coroner to be multiple incised wounds. Investigators also found signs of traumatic injuries to her hands and evidence suggesting possible sexual violence. Her death was ruled a homicide. The discovery site was a charred, previously damaged house from an unrelated fire. Keimani's mother, Tierra Caston, arrived at the scene overwhelmed with emotion and frustration, pleading to see her daughter's body to confirm the tragic news. "Let me know when the coroner is bringing her out so I can see if that's indeed my baby."
Baby is in that house, and my baby is deceased. I cannot wait to see it's done.
She cried, highlighting the raw pain and desperate need for closure amid the investigation. After learning the unbearable truth from authorities at the scene, Keimani's mother, Tierra Caston, collapsed in grief, overwhelmed by the realization that her worst nightmare had come true. Her anguished cries, "Where's my child?" echoed through the area as she pleaded to be informed when the coroner would bring out her daughter's body so she could confirm the devastating news.
I want to know if it's my baby. They still not telling me nothing. It takes nothing. It's nothing to take a picture. It's nothing to, you know what I'm saying, let me know when the coroner's bringing her out so I can see if that's indeed my baby. Y'all not saying nothing. And y'all can tell if it's a grown-ass woman or if it's a little kid. My daughter tall, but she still has the body of a child. You know the difference.
So what are they telling you?
They're not telling me nothing. They ain't told me nothing. Not a word. Then they talking about it might be days before I be able to identify my child. Like, no.
While Tierra was openly overcome with sorrow, those present noted that Keimani's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, did not show visible emotion at that moment, a fact that angered some in the crowd and intensified suspicions and accusations already directed toward her. The discovery of Keimani's body shifted the case from a missing person investigation to a homicide case, sending shockwaves of grief and outrage throughout the Toledo community. With the serious nature of Keimani's death now confirmed, the search for Darnell Jones escalated to a high-priority nationwide manhunt. After being tipped off by his girlfriend about his location in Columbus, Ohio, authorities closely tracked a vehicle linked to him, which was eventually abandoned. On March 25, 2025, just a day after Keimani's body was found, police spotted Darnell walking through the Victorian Village neighborhood in Columbus. SWAT officers moved quickly to apprehend him, but the arrest turned into a tense standoff. Reports say Darnell behaved threateningly, showed what appeared to be a firearm, and made desperate pleas for officers to end his life. He allegedly threatened self-harm and reached towards his pocket, leading to an exchange of gunfire in which he was wounded multiple times. He was immediately taken into custody and transported to a local hospital, where he was reported to be in stable condition. During his arrest, police found an object believed to be a gun and a walkie-talkie on him, raising questions about possible accomplices. Following his arrest and hospitalization,
"What's your hands? Kill me.
Dude, show me your hands right now.
Me, bro.
Pull your hand out of your... I swear to God, pull your...
Don't move. He's got 33 right there. 33 in his hand. No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there are 33s right here. Don't you move or you're gonna get shot, okay? We'll get you help, okay?
I just want to die, bro.
No, I know, but we can't allow that.
Dorothy Latigue revealed that Darnell had confessed to causing Keimani's death by inflicting fatal injuries with a knife. Charges against Darnell, who also went by the name Darnell Jerome Ogulri, were quickly upgraded to include aggravated murder, sexual violence, killing and abuse of a corpse. His bond was set at $4 million, and prosecutors announced intentions to seek the death penalty. However, due to his injuries from the arrest, his court proceedings were delayed until he was deemed fit. Darnell's behavior during his arrest painted a picture of a desperate and broken man. A 2019 video surfaced where he spoke about his emotional struggles and feelings of being overwhelmed, though these struggles in no way excused the horrific violence against his daughter.
So much stress, so much anger, and I'm just trying to do the right thing. I pray, I read my Bible, I try to help out people the best as I can, and I'm just not feeling this. And ain't financial or none of that, bro. If you thinking that's what it is, it's nothing like that.
Columbus law enforcement described him harshly, condemning his actions and emphasizing a clear message that violence of this nature would not be tolerated in their community. His arrest marked the end of the manhunt, but only the beginning of the pursuit of justice for Kei'Mani Latigue. The tragedy deeply affected the Toledo community and beyond, leaving waves of sorrow and anger. Following the heartbreaking discovery of Keimani Latigue's body, the Toledo community sought ways to honor her memory and mourn her loss. At the site of the abandoned house on Miami Street, where she was found, a makeshift memorial quickly grew, filled with candles, stuffed animals, and countless messages of love and support. It became a gathering place not only for those who knew Keimani personally, but also for strangers moved by her tragic story. Unfortunately, this symbol of remembrance was itself caught in further tragedy. On the morning of April 19, 2025, The abandoned house burned down in a fire suspected to be arson. Although police launched an investigation, no arrests were made, and officials assured the public that the blaze would not impact the ongoing investigation since the scene had already been processed. The city later demolished the remaining charred structure, but the community's tribute and regard for Keimani endured beyond the destruction. Meanwhile, tension arose within Keimani's family, particularly between her grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, and her mother, Tiara Caston, over funeral arrangements. Due to Dorothy's legal custody of Keimani at the time of her death, a judge ruled that Dorothy would be responsible for planning the funeral services. On April 9, 2025, a public memorial service was held at the West Toledo YMCA, followed by a private family service and Keimani's cremation. Despite her brief life, Keimani was remembered for her resilience and the promise she showed in school. She had overcome early instability and had recently started achieving honor roll status at Spring Elementary. She was even slated to receive a Kindness Award the week she passed away. Keimani's former 6th grade teacher, Colleen Harabedian, recalled her as a sweet girl who greeted her with a hug every morning. Harabedian expressed deep regret over what she perceived as a failure of the system, believing that more serious intervention from Child Protective Services could have saved Keimani's life. As more details about Keimani's life emerged, a complicated picture formed. Dorothy mentioned that Keimani loved older music, video games, and enjoyed spending time with the few family and friends allowed around her. When asked about family members who were not permitted near Keimani, Dorothy said it was just a small number, but that Keimani had embraced all children regardless of their background. Dorothy also shared her feelings of betrayal regarding Darnell Jones, the man who was supposed to be Keimani's father figure but was later accused of causing her death. She suggested that Darnell had groomed Keimani, gaining her trust over time through gifts and secretive behavior before ultimately harming her. While no clear signs of grooming were seen initially, Dorothy felt that the way events unfolded told a tragic story of manipulation and abuse. The case of Kei'Mani Latigue remains a profound tragedy, one marked by violent loss, family division, and troubling questions about Child Protective Services effectiveness. As legal proceedings against Darnell Jones continue, the community grapples with the pain and shock of a young life stolen to soon a life that had simply sought love and safety. Thank you for watching this deeply important story. If this video moved or informed you, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Stay tuned for more updates as the investigation and legal proceedings unfold. Our thoughts remain with Keimani's family and everyone affected by this tragedy. Until next time, take care and stay safe.